One of the most underrated cars that people either overlook or underestimate that deserves more respect, the Hyundai Tiburon. We are going to talk about the pros and cons and its variants and the modification that can be done to it. The Tiburon was produced from the late 1990s until around 2008, and over those years it went through a few changes in design and performance. What immediately stands out about the Tiburon is its styling. Even today, it still looks sporty with its low stance, sharp headlights, and coupe body shape. It was never meant to compete with high-end sports cars, but it gave people something exciting to look at, especially compared to normal economy cars of the same era. When it comes to specs, the Tiburon was offered with several engine options depending on the year and market. The base models came with smaller four-cylinder engines like the 1.6-liter and 1.8-liter, which were mainly focused on fuel efficiency rather than speed. These engines were good for daily driving but didn't really deliver strong performance. Later on, Hyundai introduced a 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine that produced around 138 to 143 horsepower, which made the car feel more alive and better suited for spirited driving. The most popular and most respected version of the Tiburon is the one with the 2.7-liter V6 engine. This engine produced around 170 horsepower, and while that might not sound like a lot by today's standards, it was more than enough to make the Tiburon feel quick and fun. The V6 models could do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a little over 8 seconds, which was decent for an affordable front-wheel drive coupe. The car came with either a manual or an automatic transmission, but most enthusiasts prefer the manual because it gives a much more engaging driving experience. Inside, the Tiburon was simple but sporty. The seats were low, the dashboard was driver-focused, and everything felt designed around the idea of driving rather than luxury. The back seats were small, as expected from a coupe, but they were usable for short trips. The trunk space was also limited, but again, this car wasn't built for practicality, but it was built for style and fun. Now let's talk about the pros of owning a Hyundai Tiburon. One of the biggest advantages is the price. Today, the Tiburon is very affordable on the used market, which makes it a great option for young drivers or anyone looking for a fun project car. Another big plus is the design. Even years after production ended, the Tiburon still turns heads, especially if it's well-maintained or lightly modified. The V6 models also sound surprisingly good, especially with an aftermarket exhaust, and the car overall is easy to work on, making maintenance and basic repairs relatively simple. The Tiburon is also a good introduction to the car enthusiast world. It's not too powerful to be dangerous for beginners, but it's fun enough to keep you entertained. Insurance costs are usually lower than many other sports cars, and parts are generally affordable, especially for basic maintenance items. Of course, the Tiburon isn't perfect, and it has its fair share of downsides. One of the biggest cons is that the base four-cylinder engines feel underpowered, especially by modern standards. If you're looking for fast acceleration, those versions will likely disappoint you. The interior quality, while decent for its time, doesn't feel premium, and after many years, some plastics may start to rattle or wear out. Another issue is handling. While the Tiburon is fun, it's not a true performance machine. The suspension can feel stiff over bumps, and the front-wheel drive layout means you'll get understeer when pushing the car hard. Fuel consumption can also be a downside, especially on the V6 models, which drink more fuel than you might expect from a car of this size. Because the Tiburon is an older and discontinued model, finding certain aftermarket parts can sometimes be challenging. While basic parts are easy to find, high-performance upgrades are more limited compared to cars like the Honda Civic or Nissan 350Z. Despite that, the Tiburon still has a lot of modification potential. One of the first mods most owners do is a cold air intake, which improves airflow and slightly improves throttle response. Pairing that with a catback exhaust not only improves sound, but also makes the car feel sportier. ECU tuning is another option for squeezing a bit more performance out of the engine, especially on the V6. Handling improvements are also very popular. Lowering springs or coilovers help reduce body roll and give the car a more aggressive stance. Upgrading sway bars and bushings can make a huge difference in how the car feels in corners. Brake upgrades are another smart modification, especially if you plan on driving the car hard or taking it to track days. Visually, the Tiburon is a great platform for customization. Many owners install aftermarket wheels, window tint, LED lighting, or body kits to give the car a more aggressive look. Even small changes like a front lip or rear spoiler can completely transform its appearance. Some more advanced builders even go as far as turbocharging the engine or swapping engines, but those mods require serious time, money, and mechanical knowledge. In the end, the Hyundai Tiburon is a car that represents an era when affordable sports coupes were simple, fun, and full of character. It's not the fastest, it's not the most luxurious, and it's not perfect, but it's honest. For someone looking for a stylish daily driver, a first project car, or just something different from the usual options, the Tiburon still holds its place. If you treat it right, maintain it well, and build it smart, the Hyundai Tiburon can still deliver smiles per mile, even years after it left production, and that's what a true enthusiast car is all about.